No, just recapping Saturday. I have to continue to, because there are a lot of good things that happened for us to be in that position down the stretch. From taking care of the ball to rebounding to what we did defensively, other than a little stretch in the first half, and to have an opportunity, even though we don't shoot it well, specifically from everybody, but the three main three-point shooters struggled to still have a chance to win it in the last 7-8 seconds, 2 cracks at it. There's a lot of positives that happened in that game for us to draw from and build on and continue to move forward. And that's the thing that today we'll be focused on, is turn the page, learn from some things, and get ready for Iowa. Questions?
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Greg, just on a day like that, it's an early game, do you stay in the house here, pore over the video, go over things, or do you get away for a little bit before you really dive into it and see everything that went right and wrong?
Yeah, it was alumni weekend, so I went to an alumni former players event after the game, and then was home late afternoon and went through it then, and went through it again yesterday. And then we'll go through the clips that I pulled from those 2 trips through the game. But no, try to get away from it. That's easier said than done. But going through it twice, it's given me a lot of positive things that happened in that. Other than, like I said, you have your 3 best three-point shooters that I would let them crank away, go 2 for 15 in the second half with pretty good looks. That's and a Connor to have that type of day where this game can humble you fast. You go from having your career high against Michigan to he's can't find the basket, and every elite shooter, as I told him yesterday, goes through that. And I've gone through our record books and just that. Kirk Penny goes 0 for 16 at Tennessee. Brevin Pritzel went 0 for 11 one game here. There's others that if you're at it long enough, you don't want it to happen very often, but you're going to have every once in 100 games, you're going to have one of those where you're just not in sync.
Todd.
Oh,
Jocko.
how kind. Iowa kind of comes in here as a wounded dog. What do you expect to see from them on Wednesday night?
Well, they're talented. I mean, we saw that back in December. And Chris Murray was hurt at that time. But I've been impressed, obviously, with Chris as a really talented player. But just watching over the last 2 days, Tony Perkins has really improved. I think Rebraca has had a really good year. And I know, obviously, it's good to see Patrick back after taking a leave for a while. So, it's a team that can score a lot of points, a lot of shooters on the floor. But like I said, I've been impressed with Tony Perkins in terms of his development and how he's kind of helped. He's been very consistent for the most part, and obviously Chris is a very talented individual too.
Yep. When Kamari got into the Michigan game 2 games ago, his first possession on offense, he was directing guys right away. Head nod this way, a point that way. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's what you'd want to see from him, taking charge. But you expect to see that from him first seconds into a game, something he's, hasn't been out there a lot, but he did take charge in that situation.
Yeah, I think it just points to his growth and development. And I told him early in the season that I really viewed him as a freshman, even though he had a year of college experience. There's so many things that are completely different and new, and how he's learned and embraced those changes. That's why I think you see the growth that we've seen, and he's practiced well. And I think there's no secret that you don't play well unless you practice well. And he's had to wear both hats of scout team, and then I bring him over and he platoons back and forth. But I think how he's embraced coaching, how he's embraced the importance of practice, and he's always a glass half full guy. He's always smiling. That's how he is every day. You never really find him in a bad mood. So he's handled things the right way, and he's been rewarded because he's gotten better, and that's helped our team.
Jeff.
Greg, you mentioned it briefly that you talked to Connor. I was going to ask you how you handle a situation like that, because he's a good player, but he's still a freshman. I was curious whether you let him, give him some space after a performance like that, or talk to him and say, hey, look, these things happen? Just in general, how did you?
Yeah, I mean, I left him alone Saturday because when I was leaving things down here, he had a manager and 3 basketballs going to the court, so he was going to shoot. And okay, that's a good sign. And just conversing with him a little bit yesterday, I said, hey, every elite shooter is going to have one of those days. If you're doing this long enough, you're not going to avoid one of those. And the key is to have a short memory, and he right away he said, yep, I understand it. I'm good. Next one's in. And that's really the mentality every shooter has to have because there's going to be a day that you can't get hit water from the boat.
Go ahead.
Coach, how have you seen your team just balance emotions with not letting frustrations get to them, especially with how 6 of your last 10 games have gone?
I mean, you try to stay in the moment. You appreciate every moment that you have. You continue to compete. They understand. They've been very resilient. They're more resilient than probably I am, even at 52. I mean, I probably harbor things a little bit longer than I need to, and they've been very resilient. They bounced back. I was with them this morning in the weight room. They were bright-eyed and ready to go and working in there. So they understand. I mean, they've been in a lot of close games. Like Patrick told me earlier this morning, 17 of our games have come down to the last or 1 or 2 possessions. So, and we've won our fair share. I think we're 10-7 in those, and you learn from them. I thought we did some good things Saturday to put ourselves in position, and it's a fine line, there's so much parity. Our margin for error is slim, so you have to find every advantage you can to take advantage of a situation. And when things don't go well, you have to learn from it and quickly flush it. You can't let what happened in the past impact your preparation or how you're going to play next. So stay positive with it, correct the mistakes, and move on.
I know sometimes shots just don't fall or you can't hit water from the boat, but what stands out to you, do you think, about why your team has struggled offensively in the second half or down the stretch more recently?
I don't know if there's an exact single thing, Carly, all the time. I mean, it's some of the games we haven't gotten defensive stops how we needed to in a few of them. Other games maybe we haven't gotten the shots we wanted to get. Saturday I thought we executed how you want to, and like I said, got a pretty good look from 4 or 5 feet in, and we don't make it. So, we've had so many of those that I think you said more than anybody in the Big Ten.
Games?
Yeah, games.
Next
like
highest
that.
is 10.
Next highest is 10. So, we can go through the numbers and make the numbers look however you want. You just move on to the next one and dissect. We look at the last possession, as I talked about Saturday. But there's 10 to 20 things through the course of the game. We gave up baseline penetration late in the game, missed a block out to give a tip dunk. That wasn't goaltending. It was legal. We broke 2 rules, gave up baseline penetration and didn't block out. So we focus on the last shot getting missed. We have a 3-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go and have a charge. We got to have a better possession. So there's 24 more of those things through the course of the game. We don't switch well on a guard-to-guard action in the first half, and kid that didn't miss a shot. Cam Spencer gets an open 3. Okay, so if we keep going through all those things, they start, and you come down to a last possession game. There was a lot of things that we could have done better to not be in that position, and there's a lot of things we did well to be in that position. So you learn, you evaluate the whole, and obviously I know on the outside the last shot gets evaluated and put under a microscope 100 different ways, but there's so many other things within the game that can be corrected, can be done better, can be done more consistent that will help you.
Todd?
Greg, I know as parents, we like to think we know everything there is to know about our kids. We probably don't. Mm-hmm. What have you learned about Isaac through this season that maybe you didn't know about him? And maybe what would he say he's learned about you that he might not have known from this experience of being together like this?
Yeah, he's. I mean, I don't know if personality has been. I've learned anything different. He's a very calculated, quiet, sharp individual. He probably shows more personality away from Dad around his teammates and friends. But it's been an awesome experience. You know, it's just to walk in every day and see your son, and you know, it helps. I don't know, it helps. You don't make up for lost time, but you know, as a coach and people in this profession, you sacrifice things, and unfortunately, your family is on the wrong short end of the stick in a lot of those things. So that's where it's cool to have him around, and he enjoys being a part of this team. He works hard. He's gotten better. That's one thing as a coach evaluating him. He's gotten bigger, stronger. You know, so it's just been fun to watch him dive in and immerse it, and how his teammates have, you know, treated him like just one of the guys. So I don't know what he would say about me. Probably, man, Dad, you're really intense in those huddles or something. But he had seen that before. I coached him when he was in 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Put a little AAU team together with him and some buddies, and that was an awesome experience. And I'd encourage any parent out there, if you have a chance to coach your own kid, to do it, because it's time you can't get back, and time you're cherished forever.
Evan.
I haven't finished looking into it, but it looks like you can probably count the number of technical fouls you've gotten as a head coach on one hand. Is one? Okay, that's the only one
I've tried to get others. But
I was going to ask, what's just your approach to that? And, I mean, do you go into every game not wanting to get one at any cost? Because obviously teams can feed off that kind of thing. Or when is the right time to get one for you?
I don't know if there's ever a calculated right time. I've always felt that if I have to make such a big deal. Now, if I have to really stand up for my guys and go at it or voice my opinion, that's one thing. But I felt if I become such a distraction that has to happen, I have bigger things to worry about and to work on to try to help our team. And whether it's some view it as a motivational thing, yeah, you'd fire your team up, whatever the crowd, I don't know if that really. To be honest with you, I think for the most part, when other teams have gotten technicals, it's actually helped us because it give us some free points at the line. So I don't try to ride that emotional roller coaster and stay as even keel as I can. And when I need to, I probably say a few more choice things than everybody thinks I do, just because of how they see me. But when I need to get my point across, I do. And literally, Ev and I have tried to stir the pot a little bit, and you know, it's like I said, when I feel that you really need to, I don't have a problem doing that. But a lot of times when you are in that position, I've had officials come to me and admit that they were wrong, and probably more often than not, just own the mistake. And okay, I respect officials that will communicate, even though if it's a erroneous call, as long as you communicate and talk. That it's the officials that won't talk to you, won't communicate, have a level of arrogance that's unnecessary. Those are the ones that are a little more disturbing. But for the most part, I think our officials have gotten better at communicating what they're seeing, what they're not seeing, maybe what they missed. And like I said, I don't coach a perfect game. Players don't play a perfect game, and I wouldn't expect them to officiate a perfect game. But when they do have a recognizable mistake, that they admit it and, you know, own it, and we move on.
Let's do one more, Jeff.
Craig, we'll get a chance to talk to Tyler later today, but it's no secret, you know, the injury set him back, and his frustration with not being able to do the things he could. After the loss Saturday, you could see he was really upset. You know, ripped his jersey out, and where's his mind at these days? And is there anything you can do just to keep him from trying to make up for too much lost time, going too fast, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think you're always trying to help somebody overcome, improve, get better, all those. But it's good to see that he's very competitive, and that's a good sign. I'd rather have it that way than it not bother him. So he wants his team to do well. Like I said, as we talked about, we've been in so many of those close situations and close games that, you know, and last year we had a lot of them go our way. This year, like I said, we're above got our head above water, but not what we want it to be, where we want it to be. So, and again, being a competitor, he knows he individually wants to try to do more and can be doing more to help in that regard. So he's got to channel the frustrations and the emotions in the proper way, and he's gotten better at it. I don't think he's perfect yet, but he's come a long ways from where he has been earlier in his career, and continue to do that and try to, like I said, channel those reactions in a positive way. And you, again, much like being a shooter, you have to have a short memory. You can't worry about Saturday. We've got to prepare now for Wednesday night.